What's going on, everyone? The Los Angeles Lakers are anxiously awaiting to see what is going to happen with LeBron James. Now, LeBron is contract extension eligible. He could sign a 2-year, $97 million contract extension. Me personally, I've talked about it here on this channel on several occasions that I don't believe he will sign an extension. I think he will do 1+1 deals here on out because he's going to want that flexibility for the Lakers for the future. It's very likely going to pass Kareem this year on the all-time scoring list. And when that happens, all he has left is to just stack rings and try to chase and get more rings than Michael Jordan. Best way to do that is to have flexibility, especially if the Lakers do like a Kyrie Irving trade, then they would secure his bird rights. And it just puts LeBron in a great position because he can go and kind of manipulate things to get another piece or two. But LeBron James and his agent Rich Paul reportedly met with the GM, Rob Pelinka, as well as head coach Darvin to kind of discuss the situation in Los Angeles. And all of this is according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports. He said the meeting was basically to express concerns and hearing out strategies and opinions to assure there wouldn't be a repeat of last season's epic failure. Now, obviously, last season was a complete disaster. Complete mess. Many people believe it was the biggest disaster in Lakers history, which is kind of hard to argue given the talent and the circumstances they were in. The Lakers were in a Western Conference that was just in kind of disarray. In many ways, there were no really just dominant teams in this last playoff run. A lot of teams had players that were injured, and many thought the Lakers were just going to kind of walk through the Western Conference, and they didn't even make the playoffs. They didn't even make the play-in. So it was an absolute disaster and mess. Haynes highlights that, the 37-year-old is focused on figuring out how to ensure the Lakers competing for a title this season, as well as the future. One of the reasons he hasn't done the extension. And then James drilled home that the importance of consistency, competitiveness, and cohesion, noting that last season's team didn't give themselves a chance on many nights, which is very true. This team was just a total disaster last year. And I mean, LeBron was part of the problem too, right? As much as people talk about Westbrook just being turnover prone, LeBron wasn't too far behind. And he kept saying over and over again that, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to sew it up, this, that, and the other, and he really didn't. So everyone needs to be held accountable across the board. And then Darvin said that he agreed with James and reiterated that his main objectives are to hold everyone accountable and foster an atmosphere of selflessness. He voiced that defense tenacity needs to pick up all across the roster. He also indicated that he won't hesitate to move players into new roles or out of the lineup if they don't buy into the new strategy, which very well could signal Russell Westbrook. Now, the solution for Russell Westbrook, based on some of the reports, is the team is also hopeful for a corner three shooting percentage bump from Russell Westbrook. He shot a pretty decent percentage from the three-point line on corner threes. So hopefully Westbrook they can put him in position to where that can kind of be his role, especially on the left side. On the left side, he was like 52% last year or something like that. He actually shot a really good percentage, although it was a very small sample size. I also think the 4-out, 1-in offense is going to be hugely beneficial for Westbrook, assuming he's on the roster. Obviously, the Lakers are trying to trade for him, but you never know. You never know what's ultimately going to happen, and you need to operate as if Westbrook is going to be there, because as of right now, he is. So until a trade gets made or something along those lines, you have to operate. Now, Westbrook being able to go downhill with the floor spread will be hugely beneficial, driving kicks. You can kind of put him in the corner spot. You can put him in the dunker spot. There's ways to utilize Westbrook. They also highlighted that Anthony Davis is going to be the key. The offense is going to run through Davis, which LeBron James agrees. That Anthony Davis is the key. And it's something that we've talked about here on this channel, how the Lakers are only as good as Anthony Davis can carry them. Anthony Davis is that mismatch. He is that monster. He is that night in and night out, just dominant force when he wants to be and when he can be. Staying healthy, staying on the court is a big thing, which he's been working on his body, he's been working on his shooting, he's been working on everything this offseason. We've seen some videos, stuff like that. So if he can kind of get back to that, then this would be beautiful, because he's a guy that, if he could get back to being bubble Anthony Davis, shot a very respectable percentage from three-point range. He was like 36% from three, 37%, something like that during the bubble run. So if he could get back to that, That would be perfect because now teams actually have to respect it and honor it. Last year, he shot like 18%. Like, I could shoot better than 18% from three, and I'm not in the NBA. Like, Anthony Davis is a better shooter than he was last year. When he was back from injury, he did look like that dominant force. I mean, he was putting up, 30, 12, and 5 games and just being an absolute monster. And then he had that dude roll into his ankle and like that freak accident, and he was out again. So they need Anthony Davis to play. They need him to be consistent night in and night out. And that's a big concern as well, right? You see Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis will have like a 35, 15, 5 blocks, 4 assists, 2 steal game. And you're like, this guy might be the best player in the league. And then the next game, he's like 11 points, 6 rebounds, 1 block, and a steal. And it's like, what? Like, what happened here? It's like, we need that consistency from Anthony Davis. We need an MVP level Anthony Davis. And I do believe he has it in him. We need to see that. Hopefully LeBron can get that out of him. LeBron's still going to do LeBron things. LeBron's still LeBron. He's improved his three-point shot tremendously. I imagine that that's going to continue. Beyond that, LeBron's just so talented and smart when it comes to the game of basketball. He's going to get his 20-plus night in and night out. You can allow Davis to be like the number one option. Now, obviously, if they get a guy like Kyrie or they get some other pieces, LeBron can kind of play the magic role. He's still going to get his 20. I mean, even if you have Kyrie and Anthony Davis, LeBron's still going to get 20 a night just because he's going to be able to do that. And it'll make it easier for him because he has 2 other guys that can kind of distract and take off of him. But LeBron is the key. LeBron is the engine that drives the car, but Anthony Davis is the car. We're only going to go as far as these 2 guys take us, and especially as far as Anthony Davis takes us. Even if the Lakers get Kyrie Irving, which is still an if, right? We don't know for sure. But let's go on the assumption that we know Kyrie Irving's coming. We are still not a contender unless Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving are great, but they are not what they were 5 years ago. And Anthony Davis is that ultimate mismatch. Everyone his size can't keep up with him, and he's too skilled, too dominant. Everybody that is too small for him, he's just bigger than and can just elevate over. He's an ultimate mismatch. He's a guy that can be dominant. Him being at the power forward position, I think, is really going to help as well because now he won't have to bang down low with the big boys. Come playoff time, he's probably going to have to play some 5. But during an 82-game season, it's not a big deal. You can let him play the 4. That's what they did in the championship run. And then when we got to the playoffs, we saw Davis playing the 5 in like big games, big moments, stuff like that. So I imagine that will continue. But LeBron's going to continue to be LeBron because we haven't seen anything showing us otherwise. So I imagine LeBron's still going to be that, 25 to 30 point a game night. He's going to have to carry a load unless they get a guy like Kyrie, or even if they do the Buddy Hield and Myles Turner, maybe he won't have to do, 25 to 30 night in and night out for the Lakers to win. But I mean, even last year, he was putting up 30, 35 points and they were still losing, so he's got to figure this out. He's got to figure out a way. And if you have Westbrook, LeBron's got to figure out a way to get Westbrook to work. It's not impossible. It wasn't solely on Westbrook. Don't get me wrong. Westbrook was a huge problem. I'm not saying he wasn't, but it was a community thing. It wasn't just Westbrook is the sole problem. Frank Vogel didn't put him in many positions to be successful. And LeBron, as great as LeBron was, the whole point of you getting Westbrook was to alleviate LeBron. I imagine that if Westbrook is on this team, he's not going to play much with LeBron. What'll likely happen is what I talked about, where they'll probably start them. LeBron will play like 5 minutes or whatever, kind of get warmed up. He'll get out of the game, he'll sit, and then it'll be the Russell Westbrook show. And then he'll finish out the quarter. LeBron will come back in the second quarter. He'll ride out, 5+ minutes in the second quarter. Then Westbrook comes in. They will probably utilize Westbrook in the 6-man role, which Frank Vogel should have done, and he didn't. I mean, how many times did we see LeBron, THT, and Westbrook on the court, or, Westbrook, Rondo, and LeBron? Like, that should never even be a test. That should not even be a sample. We know what we're getting with LeBron. Let LeBron be LeBron when he's on the court, and then let Westbrook be Westbrook. The whole point of getting Westbrook was to let Westbrook be Westbrook, and you never allowed that to happen. You know what Westbrook is. You know what you're going to get with Russell Westbrook. So put him in position to be successful, which I think Darvin Ham will be. But all in all, it was great to see LeBron sit down and have these conversations. They need to hash this out. They need to have these conversations. Also, Rob Pelinka relayed to LeBron that he wants to see him retire a Laker. He doesn't want him having to go anywhere else, that he wants LeBron to be in a position to be a contender year in and year out, which is the goal. I mean, as the Lakers, as a Laker fan, many of us, we all feel the same way. We should be a contender every single year. There's no excuse. Now, that's not always going to be the case. Of course, you're going to have bad years. You're going to have down years. But you should be trying to put the best team on the court possible. I really liked the free agents that we got this offseason. Now, none of them, we're not a championship team. I think we are at least a playoff team, maybe a bubble team at the worst. But we got all of the guys we could have gotten in this free agency. It's just this free agency was terrible. And that's why the Lakers want to make a trade so badly, because the Lakers know, this free agency was awful. But we got the best guys in this free agency, so it worked out there. Now we just need a couple guys that can kind of carry the load and help LeBron and Anthony Davis. Because LeBron's going to miss 20-plus games. Anthony Davis is probably still going to miss 20-plus games. Hopefully it's not at the same time. Hopefully you always have one of them on the court. If you have Westbrook, based on history, you're going to have Westbrook for probably 82 games, so that would be good. And then if you don't have Westbrook and it's a Kyrie, then hopefully you always have at least Kyrie and LeBron, or Kyrie and Davis, or LeBron and Davis, something like that. Hopefully that's kind of what this ends up happening and what this turns into be. But all in all, I like the conversation, I like the discussion, I like the ideas and directions. We will see how this all plays out. We still got about a month before training camp, a little over a month before training camp, so we're still a ways away. Still a lot that could happen between now and then. But as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about this meeting and these talks with LeBron James? Do you like the direction? Do you like the offense being ran through Anthony Davis? Do you like Westbrook kind of being in the corner as a spot-up three-point shooter when need be? I don't think that that's going to be his sole role. Like I said, I think there will be moments where Ham is like, hey, get the rebound, take the ball, go do you, and then other times I think they'll run the 4-out, 1-in offense, and Westbrook will be able to do his thing. He'll be able to be in position to be successful. Frank Vogel ran it on some occasions, and it was terrible. Also, hopefully Darvin Ham does the pick and roll with, I believe it was LeBron and Westbrook, and even LeBron and Westbrook and Davis. Those pick and roll matchups were like an 80% shoot rate or score rate. And Frank Vogel just went away from that for 3 months. So you could even run that and get some easy buckets. But, again, however you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.